let's be real for a second. We all knew that Tyrell Richardson Smith was heading for a massive heartbreak, but I don't think any of us were prepared for the sheer level of psychological devastation that Jessica Harris was about to unleash on him. If you have been following the show, you know that Tyrell is a deeply vulnerable young man. He spent years bouncing around the foster care system before Martin Richardson and Bradley Smitty Smith finally gave him and his sister Samantha a forever home. That kind of profound abandonment trauma doesn't just vanish overnight. So when Tyrell gave Jessica his heart, and let's not forget his first time after the cotillion, he didn't just see her as a high school girlfriend. He saw her as his ultimate endgame. He poured every single ounce of his faith, his hope, and his desperate need for permanent attachment into this girl. He even wanted to completely derail his own future and transfer to UCLA just to be near her. It was a classic, tragic case of a wounded kid clinging to a life raft. But Jessica wasn't a life raft. She was a shark. And you won't believe what happens next because Samantha Richardson finally steps up to the plate. I have to say, I have never loved Samantha more than I do right now. She delivered the ultimate brutal reality check to Jessica, and it was a masterclass in big sister protection. Samantha and Jessica clashed fiercely, and honestly, it was about time. Jessica tried to play the whole situation off as casual. She actually had the audacity to stand there and argue that dating and breaking up is just a normal part of growing up. Normal? Are you kidding me right now? Samantha absolutely went off. She made it crystal clear that while a breakup might be a minor inconvenience for a privileged girl like Jessica, it was a world-shattering event for Tyrell. Samantha wasn't just blindly defending her brother's clingy behavior. She knew Tyrell was acting out of line by trying to follow Jessica across the country. But what Samantha absolutely refused to accept was Jessica using, manipulating, and deceiving a boy who had given her his absolute innocence. But here's the kicker. Just when we thought this was going to be a standard teenage soap opera breakup, the writers threw a massive curveball. Enter June. Yes, June. Tyrell and Samantha's biological mother. We all know June has been on a redemption arc, working hard at Orphe Jeans and trying to prove that she deserves a second chance at being in her children's lives. When June overheard Samantha talking about how deeply Jessica had wounded Tyrell, something primal snapped inside of her. The fierce mama bear was unleashed. June stepped right into the line of fire to protect her son, and her sudden appearance completely terrified Jessica. Why? Because this isn't just about a broken heart anymore. June knows things. Having lived on the streets and seen the dark underbelly of Fairmont Crest, June holds explosive secrets about Jessica's family. Suddenly, Jessica realized that if she kept pushing Tyrell, June was going to blow her entire family's pristine reputation right out of the water. This battle instantly escalated from a petty teenage breakup into a high-stakes war for honor and survival. I mean, wow. The tension in that scene was palpable. You could practically see the blood drain from Jessica's face when June backed her. I absolutely love this development for June. She might not have been there to raise Tyrell, but she is making damn sure that no entitled little brat is going to destroy his spirit now. But if you thought Jessica was going to back down and quietly pack her bags for UCLA, you clearly haven't been paying attention to how devious this girl truly is. Because what happens next is one of the most diabolical plot twists we have seen all season. A rumor suddenly explodes across Fairmont Crest. A rumor that changes everything. Jessica is pregnant. Boom. Drop the mic. When Tyrell hears this, his entire demeanor shifts. The heartbreak vanishes, replaced by a terrifying delusional sense of hope. For Tyrell, a baby doesn't represent a crisis. It represents the ultimate unbreakable bond. In his traumatized mind, a child means that Jessica can never truly leave. It means he will finally have the permanent blood-tied family he has craved since he was a little boy in the orphanage. He is ready to defy Martin, defy Smitty, and fight the entire world to build a life with Jessica and this supposed baby. It is absolutely gut-wrenching to watch because as viewers, we can see the sheer desperation in his eyes. He is clinging to this pregnancy as if his very life depends on it. But I suspected something was off. I told my friends, there is no way this pregnancy is real. And guess what? I was right. Jessica Harris is not just a heartbreaker. She is a cold, calculating, professional scammer. Samantha, who possesses the intuition of an FBI agent, started digging. She knew Jessica was terrified of June's threats, and she knew Jessica was desperate for cash to fund her lavish study abroad dreams. Samantha went full detective mode and quietly began gathering evidence. What she uncovered is enough to make your blood boil. Jessica was using a fake positive pregnancy test, but she wasn't using it to trap Tyrell. Oh no, it is so much worse. Jessica was using the fake pregnancy test to blackmail Martin Richards. Let that sink in. Martin, who just survived a horrific tornado, suffered a concussion and miraculously won his congressional primary election. Martin's political career is at its absolute peak. He is the golden boy of Fairmont Crest. Jessica knew that a massive teen pregnancy scandal involving his freshly adopted son would be a PR nightmare that could destroy his campaign. She cornered Martin and demanded he pay for her study abroad expenses in exchange for her silence and her taking care of the problem. It is felony extortion! This girl is a monster. How could she look Martin in the eye, a man who opened his home to her and treated her with nothing but kindness and threatened his entire life? Thank God for Samantha. She is the unsung hero of this entire story. She didn't just sit back and let her family be destroyed by a teenage extortion. Samantha meticulously gathered the hard proof of the fake tests, the blackmail demands, and Jessica's true intention. She knew that exposing Jessica was going to absolutely shatter Tyrell, but she also knew that letting him live a lie would eventually kill him. The confrontation scene where Samantha finally rips the mask off Jessica's face in front of Tyrell is destined to go down in BTG history as one of the most heartbreaking moments ever broadcast. When the truth was finally laid bare, the look on Tyrell's face was indescribable. You could literally see his entire soul collapse in real time. Every dream he had of a family, every ounce of love he had given her, every sacrifice he was willing to make, it was all built on a sickening, greedy lie. He realized in that agonizing moment that the girl he loved more than life itself didn't just fall out of love with him. She was a professional scammer who viewed him as nothing more than a pawn to extort his wealthy father. The sheer psychological weight of that realization completely broke him. Tyrell didn't just cry. He disintegrated. But the tragedy doesn't end there, soap fans, because trauma rarely makes people act logically. Instead of wrapping his arms around his sister and thanking her for saving him and their father from a vicious predator, Tyrell turned all of his blinding rage and grief onto Samantha. He accused her of intentionally sabotaging his relationship. He screamed that she was jealous, that she hated seeing him happy, and that she purposefully destroyed the only good thing he ever had. It is a classic defense mechanism. It is so much easier to blame the messenger than to accept the horrifying reality that the person you love never truly loved you back. Now, the relationship between Samantha and Tyrell is hanging by a thread. The sibling bond that survived the foster care system, the orphanages, and the transition into the wealthy Dupree Richardson world is now extremely tense and fractured. Samantha is left standing in the wreckage, heartbroken that her brother hates her for doing the right thing. Tyrell is spiraling into a dark abyss of betrayal and lost innocence. And Martin and Smitty are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered son while dealing with the fallout of Jessica's blackmail attempt. I have so many questions moving. Will Martin press charges against Jessica for extortion? He absolutely should. You do not threaten a sitting politician and get away with it. And what about June? Now that she knows Jessica tried to extort Martin and completely destroyed Tyrell's mental health, will June unleash those dark family secrets she holds over Jessica's head? I sincerely hope she does. Jessica deserves to be publicly ruined for what she did to this family. And most importantly, how will Tyrell ever recover from this? When your first experience with profound intimacy and love turns out to be a calculated financial scam, how do you ever trust anyone again? I am heavily biased here, but I am entirely Team Samantha and Team June. They did what had to be done to protect their blood. Jessica Harris is officially the ultimate villain of the teen scene in Fairmont Crest, and I cannot wait to see karma come back to bite. What do you guys think? Will Tyrell ever forgive Samantha? Drop your theories down below, and I will see you in the next video.